Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag and drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, grab it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, back it, switch it, pay it, name it, rate it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, print it, pay it, touch it, technologic, one more time.
Hey everybody, Alphonse here, and welcome to another week of 21 Questions. This is a podcast that I record from within the confines of my car, in which I answer 21 questions revolving around a certain theme for the week. This week's theme is the internet. We all know about it, we all probably use it, we all probably love it. I mean, I do. And you're probably gonna be hearing more about the internet. Well, specifically, you're gonna be hearing a lot about my love for the internet throughout this episode. So let's get right on it. Question 1. What do you remember as your first experience with the power of the internet? Yeah, I definitely don't remember the first time that I used the internet ever, but the first time that I kind of realized its potency, I guess, is when I joined this forum called Zoo Tycoon Volcano. It was this fan forum for the game Zoo Tycoon. It was a really fun time while it lasted, and it was just neat being able to just see a thriving community dedicated to this cool computer game. And yeah, so I guess that'd be the first time. Although, definitely prior, I have played those good old Flash games on websites like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. But Zoo Tycoon Volcano is, I guess, when I kind of realized the first power of it all. Question 2. What is the most productive thing you've done while on the internet? Okay, I'm gonna give two answers for this. Basically, I'm gonna just base this off on like perspective and what means exactly. Like, for example, with obligations I actually have, a lot of business have to do with Glee Club. I have definitely been particularly productive in using the internet, just sending out emails, organizing things in my Google Drive. In terms of hobbies, I have definitely just sat down and jotted down a bunch of ideas, musical or other creative things, for like hours, and I just have a bunch of content on, and it's pretty interesting. In particular, I do this a lot when I vacation in the Philippines. I had a lot of like downtime, and so just ideas would run, and I just write them in. And I guess if you're talking about like hobby-wise, that was productive. Question 3, what's the worst experience you had on the internet? Worst experience. As I mentioned last week or some other time, I tend to not remember. I tend to try to forget my worst experiences in life. I don't know. They just bring me down. But I suppose just one thing in particular was that on my old Facebook account, because I actually had a Facebook account when I was in like middle school, and then before deleting it and then renewing it again at the end of my high school years. But anyway, my very first Facebook account, two things to remember about is that one, I made a flub about some eclipse that was happening around the time because I didn't factor in time zones. That kind of stuck with me for a bit because I judge myself harshly when I make mistakes. And the other time is when I got hacked. I forget the details of myself getting hacked, but I know that one friend was talking to a hacked version of me, and thankfully she knew that it wasn't me because the person who hacked me didn't even bother acting like me. So yeah, nice little perks of presenting your usual internet self as a pretty well-spoken, well-mannered individual. Pro tips. Question 4. How many hours a day do you spend on the internet? Oh my goodness. This is an absurd number because the internet has become a really big part of my life. I would probably say it reaches, if not exceeds, 12 hours. Yeah. Some people might say I have a problem, and in all honesty, it could be a problem, or in all honesty, it definitely is a major issue, but I don't know, that's just a lot of the things I'm interested in, they just have to be on the internet. So it's just how it is. It's just how it is. Maybe you'll get less, maybe you'll get more. I don't know. We'll see what happens in life. Question 5. How do you spend most of your time on the internet? It is often on Reddit and YouTube and my own Google Drive, whether it be my classwork and extracurricular groups, or if it's for my own drive in which I just jot down a bunch of ideas for mashups and story stuffs, and honestly a whole bunch of other things. I have folders that contain folders of things. I like that level of organization on my Google Drives. So yeah, I'd say most of my time is revolving around that. I also make sure every day to check my email. That's a general good rule of thumb to have these days. Email is important. Check it every day, if not more often. Yup. Question 6. What is your favorite website to use? Probably Reddit by far. Reddit just has access to so many subreddits that cover a broad range of cool subjects, and so there's just so much to explore on Reddit. It's super neat. I have a bunch of content saved from a bunch of things I like, and it's just really useful to say, oh, if I'm not in the mood for any new material, I can just go back through my saved material and read those, especially if I need to pull up something for reference. Very helpful. So Reddit by far has become my favorite website. And it's interesting because I got hooked onto Reddit pretty late in life. Like it's already been popular by the time I was in high school, but I never sunk my teeth into it until late senior year of high school, going to freshman year of college. Kind of neat, kind of interesting, I guess, how fast that developed. Question 7. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen on the web? There's a GIF of this guy that's running, and then so you see people cheering, but they don't realize that they're cheering because there's like this other guy in this really colorful jumpsuit that's just running also, and he's catching up to this guy after the first guy had like a really long head start. And that makes it cool and funny. But oh geez, I know there's a better answer for that. I'm considering doing like okay, if I think of something in time, then I'll go back, but we'll see. Question 8. What's the scariest thing you've seen on the internet? Oh my god, it's definitely a creepypasta. Ooh yeah, alright. Here's a spooky one. There's the one about the rejected Mickey Mouse video. It was just an image of Mickey Mouse walking through a town. Then all of a sudden everything just gets distorted and screwed up. And it's honestly, yeah, it was super duper terrifying. A bunch of super creepy details associated with it. That's probably the creepiest thing, scariest thing that I recall seeing on the internet. Yeah. Question 9. Have you done anything illegal on the internet? I mean, okay, I guess if you consider that illegal streaming as doing illegal things, then I do that reasonably, unashamedly, frequently. Definitely not nearly as much now as I have during the summer, just because, again, semester sucks. It takes away from all the cool free time things that I'd want to do. Thankfully, Thanksgiving is in a month, so I'm happy about that. But still, I wish I had more free time. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I kind of do that. I don't know. I don't feel too bad, I guess, about having to just catch certain things on certain streaming sites rather than making use of TV or Netflix. I don't know. I don't feel that like piracy is a sort of serious concern, but I guess like when like it's there and reasonably easy to access, then I like making use of the options I have. So that's my view on that. Question 10, have you ever visited the dark web? No, I have not. And I imagine that place is kind of scary, so let's not go there, ever. Imagine later in life, I all of a sudden have like a contrived reason to eventually go on there, but yeah, for now, let's not go on the dark web. Question 11, do you play multiplayer games on the internet? If so, which ones? I play Hearthstone. Yeah, it's kind of it, actually. I just play Hearthstone right now. I eventually want to play Divinity Original Sin 2 because I hear that game's awesome. And I was a big fan of playing the first Original Sin with a good friend of mine. So, fingers crossed to get to play Divinity Original Sin 2 over the winter. But for now, it's mainly Hearthstone. I honestly haven't picked up the game in months. I've only picked it up recently because there's this Halloween event going on. And there's this super cool gimmick happening in Arena that's making me really excited to play it. And it's a lot of fun. I love playing Hearthstone right now. But definitely after the event ends, I'll probably be like back to the semester grind, which I am already in the middle of. But yeah, basically the event after the event ends, there won't be that much fun reason to play Hearthstone for a while. Question 12: have you ever made any friends on the internet? If so, did you ever end up meeting these friends in person? Oh yeah, I've made tons of friends solely through the internet. A lot of my forum friends were on Zoo Tycoon Volcano, and while unfortunately I've drifted away from most of them, there's a few of them that ended up on the website, on the forum, Genome Incorporated. It's this really nifty forum that also created its own group of friends that I feel reasonably close with. Again, semester sucks, been taking away from things to do, but yeah, I definitely made a bunch of friends. I have not met any of them in real life yet, though. I know that some of my friends on Genome Incorporated have met each other in real life, which I'm like, that's cool, that's really cool, but I myself have not done that yet. Maybe it'll happen sometime in the future, who knows, we'll see what there is to see. Question 13, have you ever found romantic interest on the internet? And if so, did you ever end up being in person? There's one person that, while I never formally asked her out, I definitely felt really friendly around, and she was really cool. So I feel like that if I were a bit older when I was still talking to this person, then maybe I might have asked something, but but back when I was younger, I neither had the guts nor the intent to find any romantic interest on the internet. I have also not used any dating apps or websites, so that's not a thing I've ever done. So no romantic interest on the internet. And honestly, call me old-fashioned, but I really like the idea of meeting people in real life, or if I have to meet someone online, it's through a mutual friend that this mutual friend has talked to in real life. I don't know, I feel it's the in-person interactions you have are really important. Sure, your online interactions are going to happen more frequently, but it's those moments when you're with someone in the real world that are truly the most magical. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. Question 14, do you have any internet accomplishments? Do I? Honestly, only that I have ideas on the internet that no one else has thought of. At least, not from very basic, rudimentary Googling. That I have a bunch of mashups that no one has thought of, and hopefully when I get to posting around stories that no one has thought of either. That's the most I can brag about. I don't know. Don't have any other staggering internet achievements that I can think of on top of my head. Yeah, I'm not that big, guys. Fingers crossed I do get to that point, though. I imagine that'll be a really fun time. But we'll see about that. Question 15. What's the biggest way your life has been impacted by the existence of the internet? It has definitely helped me be more aware of a lot of things that I wouldn't myself go looking into, especially thanks to Reddit. Again, like Reddit's so awesome for all the content that you can expose yourself to. But yeah, Reddit and the internet as whole has definitely generally made me more conscious of how I perceive the world around me. I honestly have no clue how I'd be without the internet, because yeah, I really don't know. Like just like everything about the internet has been an important part of my development. Oh, actually, okay, so before we go anywhere, I want to go back to number 7 because I actually have something that's really funny. There are these Star Wars memes, and so there's this one where if you watch episode 3, it's the conversation that Emperor Palpatine has with Anakin about Darth Plagueis the Wise. And so this particular YouTube clip has both their voices replaced by these computer generated voices. It's funny. I giggled a lot during that. So that's fun. All right, so now we're back on track with question 16. What changes in the internet do you see impacting the future? To this, I will say, and honestly, anytime that some major service gets a subscription fee, that'll be huge. I don't know, just paying for things that have initially been free just rubs me the wrong way, no matter the reasoning behind it. I don't know. I'm not fond of it. I'm sure there's not a lot of people that are fond about it either. So fingers crossed that we don't ever have to get to the point where we have to add even more subscription fees to things. Question 17. What fields do you think have been positively impacted by the internet? Oh man, so much creative things. This makes me so happy, by the way. So many creative things are probably far more likely to be successful just because you have a platform in which thousands, if not millions of people can see what you're doing. And that is by far the coolest thing about the internet. I love that I have a place in which I can post things, and okay, maybe right now there's not too many people checking it out, but maybe in the future there will be. And that has me pumped. And at the very minimum, I have some sort of mark on the history of the world. I know I'm probably being extremely extravagant, but I find this important, that I have something on the internet for people to remember me by. So definitely all the creative things, like videos, making films, music. Oh geez, all those creative fields, all improved. Other fields that are improved. Sciences, I imagine, are improved just because you can easily discuss things with other people. So just honestly, the answer is it should just be everything, because everything is easier, everything is better when you have more ways of being informed about it, more ways to communicate about it. I personally feel the internet overall is a blessing, and I'm extremely thankful for having it in my life. Question 18. What fields do you think have been negatively impacted by the internet? Man, why did this question have to come right after my passionate moment about the internet? Oh man, geez, I gotta simmer down a bit. Reality check. There are definitely, to a degree, a lot of the journalism aspect, to a degree, it's been hurt. Okay, more specifically, anything that pertains to newspapers, I imagine are hurting pretty hard right now, which in that instance, it's kind of a shame, because not that I've ever been big on newspapers, but I understand they are a valuable source for information. But it's just guess how progress is. I'm sure in the future there's going to be so many things that are digital, and I'm kind of like fingers crossed that people who have been working on newspapers can eventually go on to something related to that, or like, I don't know. Yeah, again, like I'm sure obviously we know newspapers are not nearly as prominent now as they were in the past. At least I imagine that to be. Like, I don't mean everyone knows. Honestly, not for that. And I'm sure there's some other smaller things, maybe. Not smaller things. There's definitely some other major fields that I'm not thinking about right now that are hurting because of the existence of the web. But I still believe it overall does much more good than it does bad. In spite of all the bad things that can happen because of the internet, I still think that the internet is ultimately a force for good and for progress. Question 19. What are the impacts of the internet on neurobiology, one of your fields of interest? Aw, thanks. Well, there's definitely a major information usefulness. You can use the internet to be able to easily inform yourself of certain developments in neuroscience, and you can also make use of the internet to communicate about certain themes and subjects. In terms of other things, other than just the information aspect, I'm sure there are like new avenues of research that can spring from people's use of the internet with the brain. I can't think of anything on top of my head that I can think of, but I have a gut feeling that there's something there. To be frank, I do like neuroscience. It's my most favorite science just because I'm so fascinated with thinking in the mind, but I definitely can't talk about it passionately as much as I can things like movies, TV shows, the internet. It is definitely something I hope I get to that point, because I feel like that'd be just super cool. I really respect someone like my dad who can just easily, casually, and in a really interesting manner talk about a whole bunch of medicine. That's neat, in my opinion. Like, so I wish I can get to that point with neurobiology. Question 20. Do you think we live in an age where the internet is too important? Yeah, we definitely do. Social media is a big thing these days. It's the way that it's the easiest way for people to be informed about their friends and other important matters. There's also emails that are far more efficient to use than the snail mail, although snail mail is still important for bringing packages and other things. There's also the matter of, now I'm just gonna say that basically there's so much that is made either possible or more manageable because of the internet, and the internet has definitely become much more important, especially in our day and age, for those reasons. So yeah, definitely the internet's too important, but I think that's just a reality that we're gonna have to move on with. I don't think it's that bad, and it definitely won't be as bad for future generations. Question 21. If the internet were to go away right now, what aspect of your life would be impacted the most? Oh man. I have so many creative ideas saved on the internet for the sole purpose that I used to have these ideas for many years. These ideas would just be swirling around my head, and I definitely realized that, yeah, that's way too much. I need to jot down my ideas somewhere, so I just have them on my Google Drive. If that were to just poof, vanish, then okay, some ideas would still stick around, but I just have to jot them as quickly as I can before the energy and just in general the content of these ideas goes away. So that's one thought. I have to go back to using pencil and paper, and that's not rather go back. I have to start using that, which would definitely make use of a whole bunch of resources, but it'd have to be the way it functions, I guess. As for other things, I'd hate that it'd be cut off from so many people that I care about, whether it be my solely internet friends or the friends and family that I know in real life. It would feel so jarring to be cut off from them. So that's another thing. And just having no access to, or having harder access to a whole bunch of information would be highly disconcerting. Because the fact that I've used a whole bunch of downloading stuff off the internet or just reading websites, and to have that just poof, go away, that would trouble me greatly. So, yeah, the internet disappearing would have a major negative impact on my life. So, fingers crossed we never get to that point. And those are your 21 questions for this week. The internet is definitely a major part of my life, and I'm glad that I got to talk about it a whole bunch this week. So, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to follow the SoundCloud Silver and Scarlet for more podcast episodes and for more musical stuffs that will be coming in the near future, hopefully. For now, hope you all have a great day, and see you guys soon.